Welcome back on the program Youth Can. Like I said earlier, we are taking a look at the political crisis currently rocking Edo State in the forthcoming elections holding, of which the APC primaries have already held. And joining me this evening to talk about that issue is Mr. Osaze Isesele. He is a youth in politics advocate. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much, Osaze. Thank you.
Yeah. The build up to Edo and Ondo elections, as a young person, what would you make of the political drama and melodrama currently ongoing in Edo State in particular?
Okay, well, first of all, I must express my disappointment anyways with the turnout of events, because we are in a democracy and not some sort of anyhow political so to speak, where politicians just do anything that they like, because we're in a democracy, and of course the focal point in democracy is the people. You know, it's a government that is constituted by the people. Most of the things our politicians say, or political leaders or political actors say that they want to do, is for the benefit of the people. So very recently I released an article looking at the Edo State politics, and I was asking a question. Looking at the whole scuttles and the fisticuffs going on in Edo State, can these political actors truly say to us that their intention is for the people? Because if your intention or your motive is to ensure that the people have a better life, you know, there's the well-being and the welfare of the people are of utmost importance to you, it will also moderate your actions. It will also moderate what you do, you know, in terms of the movements you make building up to the elections. Because if you look at the situation, for example, in Edo State and Ondo State already, the precedents they are setting already, these so-called political leaders, or pardon my language, these political leaders are, the precedents they are setting for young people, it's not a good one. It's negative. If you look at, I was looking at very recently in River State, there's already a faction, there's already this faction in the ruling party. You know, so you can see that the faction that is in the national level is already trickling down to the grassroots. And of course, you would agree with me that there are young people who have political sentiments. There are young people who are gearing up to be part of politics, or there are young people who are around these leaders. So in a way, there's already a division, even amongst young people. So for me, I think it is not a commendable situation. Because for us as young people, for myself as a young person, I'm looking forward to people already in the political space for mentorship, for guidance, for direction, and all of that. So if the people who we are looking up to already have this kind of this kind of stuff going on amongst them, it is not something. I wrote sometime on Facebook that it is sad to say, but the Nigerian politics, there's nothing really inspiring about the Nigerian political atmosphere. You know, so for me, first of all, I'm expressing my disappointment, and secondly, it is a call to young people to say, this is the state of our polity
at the moment.
You know, at the moment, how do we as young people, you know, get involved and also not follow the same path?
So and
begin to create new political ideologies, new political structures for ourselves as young people, you know, as we walk towards a prosperous Nigeria.
Okay, and Edo, we're talking about the APC having its own share of crisis, even though there was a time the PDP also had theirs. Legal tussles, accusations here and there, counter accusations and all of that. What impact would you say this would have, or effect it would have in the forthcoming elections?
Certainly it's going to have a very humongous impact on the elections. Maybe as we begin to move further, all of us will begin to see the ripple effect of all of these legal tussles here and there. Even before this morning, I think I saw on the news where there's already a court order restraining the Edo gubernatorial, PDP gubernatorial election, candidates in Edo State already. You know, of course, I think when I saw the news, not to drag it too long, but then that's a case already. On the aspect of the APC gubernatorial candidate, you know, there are two factions.
Yes.
One of the factional chairman of APC in Edo State said that the elections that held on Tuesday, it's a nullity, because to him, his own faction is not in support of the primary
election that held on Monday.
The primary election that held on Monday is a nullity, and they are going to contest it because they wanted a certain kind of primary, but the NWC from the national said, "Oh, this is the primary we want to go." So the state chairman, I was watching him on TV the other day, you know, and he was venting vehemently, and I was in my mind anyway, not to digress, but I was like, this is somebody who is. Do you want this whole state to burn down before you guys will know that this way is not the way to go? But then, to answer your question, there are lots of legal battles post pre-primary elections, post-primary elections, even pre-elections. The PDP gubernatorial candidates in, of course, there will be legal contest against the certificate, because I was telling somebody moving from the APC to the PDP does not also sort out the issue of certificates, you know. So a lot of people have interest here and there. So there will be several legal battles, you know, here and there. And for me, I feel that no matter what happens, or I think that no matter what happens, the elections should hold peacefully, and at the end of the day, the people should be able to express their will.
Okay, now talking about the primaries that held on Monday, and I think last weekend when Obaseki formally joined the PDP, there were public outcry about defiance to the COVID-19 guidelines in terms of gatherings and all of that. What was your concern? What's your take on this?
For me, at first, I was even not too pleased with the fact that INEC is still going ahead with the elections, you know, looking at the fact that we have a very wonderful and peculiar health crisis with us at the moment. But of course, they gave their reasons why they want to go ahead with elections, you know. They also said that there are certain guidelines in place, because I heard that even the APC primaries that held on Monday, that they were able to stick to the guidelines and the gazette that was issued by the state government. So for me, first of all, it is rather displeasing to see that the election is still going ahead. But be it as it may, I think what we can do as a people is to ensure that we adhere to the guidelines, because INEC says that the guidelines, their own guidelines for the election, is also in line with the WHO and NCDC guidelines, so that, you know, we can also ensure that everybody is properly kitted, you know, while going out for the elections. There will not be a certain number of persons in the polling unit at a particular time. We hope that, we also hope, but then looking at the increasing rate or numbers every day as regard COVID-19 in Nigeria, it's something to worry about. Yesterday, I think it was about 671 new cases. It's something to worry about. But then, like I've said, it is for us as a people to see how we can follow the stipulated guidelines, you know, by NCDC and WHO while we approach the elections, because so we don't distort the electoral cycle. We need somebody to man the affairs of Edo State from September 19th forward.
Okay. Before coming back to that, let's move on to Ondo State, where there's the drama of the deputy governor saying not being allowed to leave the government house, and who later defected from APC to the PDP, and now the governor saying he had no hand in it, the CP has his own side. What would you make of that drama?
Well, for me, it goes back to what I said in the beginning, that our political leaders do not have the interest of the people at heart, because if you have most of them are there for their personal and selfish aggrandizements. So if you have the people at heart, there are certain actions that you as a leader will take. You know, for me, I saw the grandstanding that happened at the government house when the deputy between the deputy and the governor, and the deputy governor as preposterous. I don't think that should even be heard of in a democracy, you know. But of course, in politics in Nigeria, once we are getting close to the elections, there's always this drama, You know, Nigerians are already used to, you know, all of this drama and conflicts here and there. For me, I think our political leaders should have a rethink whenever they take certain decisions. Of course, we are free. There's freedom of association. You can decide to defect from a political party today and move to the next one, just like we're seeing in Edo State now, you know. Isesele used to be in PDP in 2016. Yeah. Now is in APC, and they have both swapped positions. You know, so it's freedom of association. But then when we do these things, we should ensure that the interest of the people is in our heart. I will keep saying that the well-being, because that is the constitution. Exactly. The Nigerian constitution says that the political leaders are responsible for the well-being and the welfare of the citizens. So if that is what we are looking at, you are saying the people are the reason why you want to be in the government, then you should consider them in your actions. So that is just my own take as regard that.
Okay, coming back, you just talked about the interest of the people. Now let's look at this crisscrossing, cross-carpeting and all of that in the political space and all. What impact does this have on Nigeria's democracy? You
know, first of all, our political parties in Nigeria do not have ideologies. They do not have visions.
There's an argument.
You know, that argument has been out there, and everyone who has studied, every person, young and old, who has studied the Nigerian political space will understand that our political parties do not have ideologies. Because sorry, I'm always referring to Edo State.
No, it's fine.
Of course, that is my state, and I have a high stake of interest in them. If you look at what is happening, in the last election in 2016, this same PDP that Obaseki has crossed to, they vehemently said a whole lot of wonderful things about him, wonderful things in quote. Yeah. You know, they took him to court, contesting a certificate and everything. But this is the same person I would like to say they were lobbying, because at the beginning, when he resigned from APC, it took him a few days. Possibly he was consulting. Possibly they were also trying to woo him and all of that. You know. Space, you know, so I find it very hard to believe that they still decided to say, this is the person that we are going to take in, because you were against him in the last election. I'm going somewhere. The same APC, of course, Adams Oshomole, I saw a lot of videos. There are despicable things he said about Isesele. You know, this is the same party Isesele has gone back to. You know, so if you look at it, our politicians, they use the political parties in Nigeria as their special purpose vehicles to get to where they are going to. You know, this is my intention. So if these people is not giving me what I want, I go to this person. It is a normal, it has become,
it's basically not about the party.
Yes. So they don't even care about, in fact, I saw a news about 6 months ago where PDP was saying that Obaseki is not performing. I read that news 6 months ago, you know, but that is the same person they have brought into their midst, and they want to, apparently, because that is what we are all going to see. Apparently, it's going to end up the gubernatorial aspirant for PDP. So, first of all, our political parties need to get it right. It may not be entirely the fault of these aspirants or these politicians. If our political party has a vision, they have a guideline. All of them claim they have constitutions, but how many of them are really following their constitutions? You know, I know that some politicians will say, "Oh, to show my consistency, if I come here, they don't give me their ticket, I will go to the next party." You are consistent in your ambition to become maybe a governor or a senator or whatever it is. You are consistent in your ambition, but you are not consistent in your association. You know, so today you are here, tomorrow you are here, tomorrow you are here, and all of that. So for me, I think our political parties in Nigeria, we need to get it right. I was jokingly telling somebody this morning that if it's possible, every young person in Nigeria should come together and form a new political party. So let's leave PDP and APC for our old daddies and mummies and all of that. You know, let all the young people come together and form a new political party. You know, so I think our political parties need to get it right in that aspect, so that we don't have this defection here and there.
Okay, from all this that we're seeing, it is obvious that the issue of godfatherism is still playing out. Would you agree on that?
Yes, to an extent, of course, I agree.
And the issue of money politics,
I agree.
to see that.
Yes.
How do we then change this narrative?
Well,
do you think it can be completely eliminated from the Nigerian political system?
Like I said to somebody, if we say that Nigerian politics is dirty, it behoves on a generation to clean it up.
Okay.
You know, and then somebody now asked me a question: how long is this cleaning up
going to
and
take?
evacuation
it's
going
been
to
on
take?
for
you know,
decades.
First of all, I think the young people need to get involved. And whenever I say young people should get involved in politics, young people tend to ask me, the entry point, there are barriers at the entry point. How do I enter? Because in a way, if you say I should enter, I need a mentor. I need somebody to take my hand through the rigorous and murky waters of Nigerian politics.
Yeah.
You know, and then when that person takes me in and gives me all of the support that is needed, and what if tomorrow that person begins to demand, you know, certain things of me that I will not be able to deliver? You know, it's my godfather. So what do I do? So for me, it's not a good narrative for our Nigerian politics. And then I also think that time will tell, but we need to start early enough. We need to start early enough. Young people need to get involved, you know, from their wards, from political parties. They need to get involved in the process, you know, in the entire electoral process, and we'll take it one at a time. It's not going to happen because of the peculiar situation we have in Nigeria. It's not going to happen all of a sudden, but we need to just take it in step one after the other and keep pushing until we eradicate it. And it starts from our mindset. It starts from our ideologies. A lot of people feel that when a young person, for example, if I say I want to go into politics today or tomorrow, somebody will feel that, oh, maybe it's my own escape routes from poverty, from hardship, or some sort. But I believe that when you see people who have genuine interest, you know, to make a difference, you will know. And as the time goes, I think we'll get it.
How do we then identify those with a genuine interest? Looking at the perception and the narrative about youths in Nigeria, especially when it comes to the issue of politics.
You know, at your own level, you must begin to make a difference. That's one of the ways you will know.
Okay.
If somebody is engaged in an activity where he's not receiving immediate profit at the moment, and he's still doing it, he's still going about it. Probably you are a young person, you own an NGO, and you pick a societal problem you're solving. You pick maybe one of the SDGs you are actively working on. As you keep doing it, maybe at your own scale, at your own level, people are seeing it. People are seeing the works that you are doing. It is for me, I tell people, it is very easy to know somebody who is working. It is very easy because it will be visible. The results will be there for you to see, whether they are publicized or not. When you go to the place that this person says, I'm a senator and in my senatorial district I've done this, do that, take a vehicle, travel down to that district. It's simple. Check it out and see, you know, how I think I read in the news where ICPC says they are beginning to
track,
you know, track constituency projects and all of that.
Starting the second phase.
Those are things that young people can begin to do. For example, as a young person, if I go to my senatorial district and I begin to ask valid questions, you know, about what is going on there, I am not being paid for it. I am not in the ICPC or I am not in any regulatory body. But if as a young person I take it upon myself, you know that this person has the interest of the people at heart. Because what is going to be your gain? Your gain is going to be that at the end of the day, if it's not working, you have been able to let the people know that it is not working. If it's working, you can tell the people that, oh, it is working. You have become a tool of accountability. So I think that with the narrative, with the perception, with the results of young people, how they are going about what they do for the sake of community, for the sake of social impact, you will be able to identify those people who really have the interest of the people at heart.
Okay. Now, come September 2020, how would you want young people to conduct themselves, especially in the build-up and also during the elections and post-elections? Okay,
well, like I said earlier, the precedent set already is a wrong one. You know, I'm on social media almost 24 hours. You know, I'm always on social media, and I see the scuttle that is already going on between young people. These are young people. How many of our old people are on social media? You know, and then they even resort to the point where they exchange, you know, insults on themselves and all of that. You know, and for me, it is a sad one. You know, so for me, I feel that first of all, young people, you need to what we can do as we are approaching Edo State election, Ondo State election, young people must learn to scrutinize the candidates, scrutinize the aspirants. Do your own research. You don't just follow the bandwagon. In 2016, I was supporting a particular person in Edo State, and but as I sit here with you, I have a different person in mind. That is because I've been able to look at what has happened in the last 4 years, you know, and I've been able to do my own research. Why
and
is you know and weigh it and look at the future. You know, more young people need to imbibe that. You don't just go to the polling unit that day and say, this is my PVCO. If they give me 2,000, I will vote. We are selling away our future. What is 2,000 naira? If you collect 2,000 naira,
I think you have to drum that to Edo youths. They really have to.
What is 2,000 naira? If you are giving 2,000 naira to vote for somebody, you have sold your future. Your future is what more than 2,000 naira, and you have not just sold your future, you have sold the future of your children and your children's children, because whatever the person is going to do in that 4 years, the policies the people will come up with, they are the policies that will continue to build up and all of that. So first of all, it is the responsibility of young people to look at the candidates for the elections and say, okay, what has this person done? Let's look at this person's track record. What has he done? And then based on your research, you now form your own conviction and say, okay, I think I want to go with this person. And then if you feel that you are good enough to encourage other people, you can encourage other young people and say, see, go and do a research on this person. I want us to vote this person as governor or as so-so and so-so. But I want you to go and do your own research. And you encourage them. And you go there on that day and you vote wisely without any form of violence. Because I tell people, let's look around. We sing it all the time. Let's look around. How many of the big politicians you see their children in Nigeria? How many of them you see their children come out on that day? Because, for example, if my father is going to contest for governor, it is common sense that I will go and pack my friends from secondary school, pack my friends from university to come and support my father. But on that day on the election, how many children of these politicians do you see there? You know, because some of them have orchestrated a scene of violence, so they keep their children away. And then the truth of the matter is that it is these same young people we are talking about that will be used to perpetrate this violence. So I think for us as young people, we need to start a very, very different mind shift from what it used to be.
We've been saying this over the years. For decades now, we've been calling on youths to ensure that their participation in electionary processes are on the positive note and positive side. Yeah. But it seems like rain falling on the roof. We're just talking into the air.
Well,
there's no change. We see the same thing, the same narrative year in year out.
You know that it was just in 2019 we began to see young people.
Yes, there were more advocacy in 2019 to run for offices.
Yeah, based on what the Not Too Young to Run organization was able to do at that time. You know, so I believe that in 2023 we'll see more young people vie for political positions. And then, like I said, we need to keep drumming like we're doing now. We need to come up with several initiatives. You know, we need to come up with several creative ideas on how we can make politics, governance, and elections more appealing to young people in the right way. In the right way, not to give them money to come and cause trouble or to cause violence. So for me, I think it's not going to happen overnight.
Well, will the youth key into that? Would they? That's the question. I want you just to go on social media and post and rant and talk. But when it's time for action, call on youths to come out. You really do not see.
I understand your point very well. I understand the point very well. And then, well, in a way, the political situation in Nigeria makes that situation.
The atmosphere is not there.
Makes that situation like that. But like I said, more young people like myself, like other young people out there who are very interested in all of this, are people that should begin to take active steps. They should begin to come up. When a young person like me sees the kind of impact I am making, the kind of social impact I am making with regards to politics and elections and governance in Nigeria, they will sit up. Over time, they will sit up and they will see that, I think this is something that we should get involved in too.
Okay, now let's talk a bit about the Edo Future project. What does it aim? What's it about?
Well, the Edo Future project is a summary of what we have been saying all I've been
saying during the course of this.
So the Edo Future Project is simply to mobilize youth power, young people, to key into good governance, public service accountability, and active citizen engagement for the prosperity of Edo State. Okay. Whilst I am a proud Nigerian, I am more prouder, if there's any word like that, to be from Edo State. Yeah, and like the popular axiom goes that charity begins at home. You know, so for me, this effect we are going to see in all of all over the nation or across the nation has to start from the grassroots. So that is why we did not we were very peculiar about the name Edo Future Project, and because we are very concerned about the future of Edo State cut across all sectors, we decided to say, okay, it is not a political movement, it is not an NGO, it is just a coalition of young individuals, young organizations, you know, like-minded individuals in Edo State who say, we want to change the narrative, we want to change the trajectory of our state. You know, doing my research about the place where I come from, not to boast, but Edo State, it is not, without mincing words, was not mistakenly called the heartbeat of the nation.
Right? You know, that's what it
shows that there is something about that state. You know, it shows that there is a lot of prosperity, you know, in that state. So, and I think that it is the responsibility of young people to begin to work actively towards, you know, all of this and change the narrative. You know, if you look at the way young people are going into Yahoo, the human trafficking and all of that, you know, it is not a good narrative. There was a time I visited Auchi, and, you know, the young persons there in our interactions, they were like, now this thing they reign now. So
I can imagine, especially at those states, the issue of migration,
all of those
internet fraud, and all of
those things. You know, so for us, we feel that we need to start this initiative, we need to start these ideas. So we have a lot of programs coming up, but our first focal program will just be to ensure that young people are involved in the election, do some sort of advocacy, digital media advocacy, social media advocacy, how to conduct themselves in elections, what they should do, all of the things I've said that is expected of young people in the electoral process. As we begin to move forward, it will get to a point where the body would, you know, begin to come up with more ideas on how young people can get involved in politics. Because like I explained to you, if you look at the two contestants in the Edo State election, Isesele and Osaze, they are not, in my own estimation, they are not young people. You might say, oh, they are young at heart, you know, and all of that. But we need more young people to get, you know, involved. So I don't think there's any young person that is below 35 that will be contesting in the forthcoming elections in Edo State. That for me is a cause for worry. Don't we think we have younger people below 35 that have the ability, that have the capacity, you know, to come on board? So and I believe that if you don't start early, how would you begin to, you know, get, because the issue of politics
tomorrow is already here.
Yes, because they say we are the leaders of tomorrow, but we're not the leaders of tomorrow, we're the leaders of today.
Of today, because tomorrow is here already.
For me, I think that more, I'll keep singing it. More young people need to get involved. 2023 is a way.
Just here.
You know, after the Edo elections in September 19th, we're going to have elections for the National Assembly, you know, and for the presidential elections, State House of Assemblies. Young people should come out, you know, and not just be voted for, but they should also come out to also vote. All
right, thank you very much, Mr. Osaze Isesele. Thanks for coming on the program. He's a youth in politics advocate, and we talked from the political quagmire or crisis that is currently rocking at those states down to the role youth have to play in the forthcoming elections and future elections. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Like I've always said, we are young, we are energetic, we are informed, we are resilient. If we channel our energy into something positive, we are going to reap the fruit of our labor, and we are going to come out better. If we have to be the leaders of tomorrow, like it's been said, how else would we be if we don't start today? We need to start today. Stay tuned on the program, Youth Can.